Hey everyone, this is Nick from Mecca Warehouse, and today we're back with weekly update number 76. And let's kick things off like we usually do with week in review, where I talk about what's been going on, things that are coming up, and let's start off with good news, bad news kind of stuff. So unfortunately, one of our key players in the team won't be in for an extended period of time. Hopefully, he'll be back. Orion's dealing with some medical issues, and I just want to throw that out there just so that way people aren't wondering because he shows up in a lot of our content and probably won't for a little while. So we probably won't see him for a little while. Hopefully he'll be back. He's okay. He's not like dying or anything like that, but just basically can't do the warehouse stuff for a little while. So we won't be seeing him for a bit. The good news that comes with it is decided to do our first promotion, so to speak, in the warehouse team, and starting next week, Dylan is going to be our quote unquote senior minion, and will be kind of stepping up to take on some more responsibility around here and be that go to person that's here all the time, or most of the time at least, on the warehouse team, and let some of that experience in the warehouse, being our fastest, most efficient packer, most experienced packer, and just kind of having absorbed a lot of that Mecca warehouse stuff, being here for the longest, really, by quite a good clip, and gonna hopefully leverage him to help keep everything going smoothly as we grow. And we got to kind of indoctrinate the new members of the team a bit and get them understanding how we do things and things like that. So I'm really excited about that. Congratulations, Dylan, and looking forward to seeing where else this goes. I like the whole idea of trying to promote from within where possible, and so it's one step on that path to, I don't know, more hierarchy as we grow, because more people means more stuff, if you will. So that's great. Also, if you haven't yet, you should definitely check out our vlog. Tuesday, we posted a vlog about our trip down to Valleycon, another IPMS event. I won't bore you with all the details. It was a great event, though. Met some great people. And two of my builds managed to take home awards. Kate had a build take home an award as well, partially my build and her build, facilitated by their open judging system, which means they award more than just first, second, and third, which is good for us, I guess, because we probably wouldn't have won anything without that. But definitely worth taking a look at. They had a beginner and advanced division, and I think that's a relatively novel thing in the IPMS world for Gundam and Gunpla, and a lot of groups should consider implementing the same kind of thing, because I think it would help bring out more people. And so if you want to check that out, that's on the channel, and definitely take a look. And the one other thing for the week in review section here, we were discussing this the other day, and I'm kind of curious about feedback from you. And so we're thinking about either moving the weekly update earlier by maybe an hour on Friday mornings, and that would mean that you would have a chance to actually see the like restocks and things like that before they go live on the website and get a little bit of a heads up, or possibly posting the weekend review on Thursday. There's pros and cons to both. You know, if we do it Thursday, we might not have had everything checked in, or have less stuff checked in by the time we're ready to shoot the weekly update, which means there's going to be some lack of information in ways. Posting things earlier, or if we post it on Thursday, when does the email go out, all that kind of stuff. But I'm curious what you guys think, because you're the ones who watch the weekly update, what you think, if you have any opinions. So post down in the comments below if you have input on that. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Okay, next up, let's do weekly tips, which I think we're going to start calling Nick's Tips. Thanks, MJRL Hobby Stuff, for the suggestion in the comments. So Nick's Tips this week. We had a lot of questions about boxes, and I'm not prepared to tell you what I do with my boxes, because they're just basically in a pile in the corner of my attic right now. I've got some ideas, and I'll hopefully flesh those out to figure it out. But one thing that someone asked that would be helpful, I think, is how I pack my kits to go to a show like Valleycon. So basically, I use the kit boxes that I have. I'll find one that's an appropriate size. I've been using a pair of my Peep and I Magnac boxes lately because it's a pretty rare kit. So when I stuff that box under the table at the show, it's not something I'm likely to have confused with somebody else's kit or box underneath the table. And I basically have a layer of foam underneath. I could put a layer of foam on top if I wanted to. And then I use tissue paper to create that kind of shape around the kit and keep it from rattling around too much, or to keep plastic parts from crashing into other plastic parts, because that's what's going to take paint off and things like that. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I've done that to travel both by car and when I flew down to ODO. And it works pretty well. Of course, you could get crazy with laser cut foam or hand cutting foam to be more specific to the kit, which I might do if I were going to ship the kit and put it in somebody else's hands. But in a carry-on or carrying it myself, the tissue paper seems to be a good, inexpensive, and very adaptable option. Okay, let's move on to pre-orders. We put up a bunch of pre-orders this week. First up, we got from Wave a Maquet Osif M. Melusine, I think is how you pronounce that. I'm not sure if that also is supposed to be some sort of acronym maybe. But new Maquet kit from Wave going to be coming in. We got a bunch of Motoroid, the Aquabeat, Granzort, Winzert, which I think are all from the same thing. They've got kind of a stylistic thing there going on there. The Kurumu Kuro, Ikoruga, and the HAL X10 from Pat Labor, which is kind of interesting. Pat Labor stuff is pretty cool. We also got two kits from Alpha Max, which I think, I'm not sure if that's its own media thing or if it's just a line of kits. The Incree and Adventure, kind of interesting looking design. This is just their own thing. So it's another just franchise just for the sake of making kits, which is cool. We also got the Suyata Angela, which is some sort of robot girl-ish kind of thing, right? Girl design. As well as the Messiah Ranka Lee, which is interesting because that is actually Robotech / Macross. So Robot Girl, but with Macross theming, which is cool because everybody's been asking about Macross and Robotech and stuff like that. So that stuff is definitely coming. So take a look if you're into that kind of stuff. That's it, I believe, for pre-orders this week. So let's move on to restocks. And restocks are interesting and a little light this week. But what we did get is kind of cool. So the main thing, kit-wise, isn't even really a kit. It's our first of the Mega House hanger decks that we've gotten in stock here. The Archangel hanger deck, I believe that's the one from Gundam Seed, and it's massive. The box is huge. I'd hold one up here. We'll probably have one show up either on screen or maybe we'll clip to me holding it or something when we edit this. It's a massive box. I think the thing is big. It's basically intended for 1/144 scale kits. And so if you've got seed kits and you want to show one taking off from the hanger deck or whatever, you could use this hanger deck. They're a little pricey, but a great way to kind of build out some sort of fancy display and show your kits kind of in the correct environment. And I think they need some assembly, but it's not a kit per se. I think it's already painted, colored, all that stuff, and it should be a pretty quick and easy thing to put together. The other restocks that we have this week are basically just Gun Primer and G Rework. So Gun Primer, nothing new to us. I don't think everything we've gotten in we've had before. But if you've never used Gun Primer products, definitely worth a look. They make some great sanding products. They're balancers, razors, and some of the other products are very, very highly regarded by a lot of builders. And then G Rework is another brand of Korean water slide decals. Their packaging is on point. I've heard good things. They're not Delpy, so that's a little bit different, but they've got some cool decals in their line and perhaps decals for kits that you want to build that maybe Delpy doesn't have. So worth a look. I think there are 3 new ones, and I don't have them on top of my mind right here or in front of me, but we'll post them up. We're still checking that stuff in kind of as we speak. And so that's it for restocks this week. Next up, let's do Q&A. So this week we have, I think, 5 questions. If you have a question you'd like answered, post it down in the comments below and we'll do our best to answer it next week. The first question is It's from Plastic Germs. Is there an influencer or certain Gunpla Plamo builder that MW would like to collaborate with? It's a great question. And but unfortunately, the answer is going to be not as great. And specifically right now, no. And that's mostly because I've been so heads down that I don't even know who's out there. I'm sure there's a few really big name ones that I wouldn't mind working with. A lot of them are already kind of collaborating with other brands, or they're already engaged, so to speak. And I'm not super big on trying to poach people. At least not yet. Maybe I'll change my mind in the future. But I guess the other half is, everyone at some point. I've got some ideas for how that's going to play out sometime over the next year or so, maybe. But today, there's no one specific I can speak to, unfortunately. Fun question. What two mobile suits would you like to see in a head-to-head battle? Ooh, that's a good one. And one I definitely haven't thought too much about. I guess I would kind of love to see, how almost any of the wing suits would stand up against some of the big UC ones. I don't know if there's ever been like a comparison of specs on them. We know that the Gundam wing suits are smaller, so like how would the Wing Gundam hold up against, say, the new Gundam? It's going to be way smaller. That the what's the beam rifle called? The Buster rifle can put out some serious output. How does all that stand up against, say, a new Gundam, which is also pretty mobile and pretty powerful? I have a feeling the UC side probably wins just because UC, but I don't know how those like stand up like cannon wise in terms of specs and output power and speed and all that kind of stuff. It'd be an interesting thing to answer. All right, next question. 0195, diving deep into the Mecha Warehouse lore here, but with Blue 01 being the MW mascot, is it part of a mecha team a la Wing? The sticker suggests potential multicolored variants, much like the Astraeus from Seed, or is Blue the face of the franchise like the RX-78 Granddaddy is? I think we might have to leave you wondering about that one until we're ready to make some announcements on that at some point in the future. But I don't know, read into anything that you can see, I guess. Great question, though. Next one, Shizu-san, and this one's a lot, so I'm going to try to read this quick. Shizu-san says, I have a question, but I'm not sure if you can answer it. Warning, this is long, LOL, and if you can't address it, that's okay. I remember pre-pandemic, there was a local shop near me where basically any kit I wanted, they had in stock, or if they didn't, they could get it, and usually took like a month or so. During and after pandemic, obviously things changed. First, my local shop closed, their physical store went online only. Mecha Warehouse now become my #1 place to order. Thank you. Here's the actual question. Is the shortage of a small supply of kits still due to COVID-related reasons, or is it that Gunpla in general has exploded so much that kits are so much harder to get? My job prevents me from being able to shop Friday mornings when your restocks happen. So for me personally, I always miss out on the kits I want. By the time the evening hits and I look, they are all long gone. But it's not just Mecha Warehouse having this issue. I can't find these kits on any other sites either. Example, HG Messer. We have a lot more coming. What are your thoughts on whether or not things will ever get back to those pre-pandemic days, or what is causing the shortage still? Sorry for the long essay of a question. Okay, give me a second to catch my breath. So this is a great question, and it's a little of both. But the thing is that COVID itself, the main impact it has is more on when things arrive right now. I'm pretty sure the factories in Japan are producing as much or more than they ever have before. So the bigger factor is just the hobby exploding with everybody needing to find something to do when everyone was locking down. And Gunpla was a great option for obvious reasons. We're all here doing it, so we all kind of believe it's a good use of your time. So the main thing is primarily that the amount of demand has increased far faster than they could ramp up production. Kind of to talk to the earlier points you made in your long question here, when we started, we could order things on a nearly weekly basis if we wanted to, and go to Bluefin or whatever other supplier and say, hey, we want, these kits that you have in stock right now, and we could get more of kits whenever we wanted. We didn't have to place an order and wait 3 to 6 months before we saw those kits come in. We didn't have to worry about ordering and having our orders cut down or anything like that. And so because the demand is so high, basically every kit that's produced is spoken for before it, a single bit of plastic is even poured into a mold. So that's great for them, great for the production end of things. For the consumer and for the shops, not as great. So hopefully over the coming, months and years, that production capacity will increase. I'm sure if they see this demand long enough, they will probably, if they're not already planning it, will break ground on another factory and get more capacity ramped up. With supply chains and demand for everything kind of going up, I'm sure getting more molding machines in itself is a huge limiting factor. They're probably not just a warehouse sitting somewhere with a bunch of these expensive machines sitting around. So I think the good news is it will get better eventually. It's just going to be a gradual process until they figure that out. But that's an excellent question. I think something that a lot of people maybe aren't aware of. All right, next one, Frost Glitch 2.0. When are you guys going to have a restock on the MG Wing Gundam Zero EW Verka? Right now, I don't know. I think they might have been on the most recent order form, so we'll get confirmations for that in the next couple weeks, hopefully. Right now, we have 0 on order, which means that I can't tell you when we can expect them with any sort of certainty. So, but I'm sure they'll get reprinted again. Okay, and I think the last one, MWG. Fun question for everyone, anyone. Skateboard or skates, rollerblades? And I'd say definitely skates for me. I used to ice skate a lot in like high school. It was like our Friday night thing to do with my set of friends. We'd skate around. Sometimes we talk about Gundam. And I really enjoyed that. I haven't been skating in a long time, but I'd love to get back on the ice. Missed it this year, I think. I'll have to do that in the fall or winter sometime. And I think that is all that we have for questions this week. So if you have a question you'd like answered, post it down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Later.